With pro circumstance, you have a restriction that's relative to the circumstance. Let's say, for example, you only agree to abort a baby when the victim is raped. Okay. That means when you don't have enough money or financial aids to preserve the life of the fetus or preserve the happiness of the fetus when they grow up, you can't abort the baby. So there's a restriction there. But with pro choice, you can choose scenario to scenario. You can choose whether or not you preserve the life of the fetus, etc. It promotes the most freedom when it comes to ethical egoism. Therefore, being in line with what morality is consistent when it comes to society with. Go ahead.
I was about to say, did I cut out?
What did I cut out?
You cut out
No, I
the
thought I
end
cut out.
sentence.
Yeah, I cut out. I was about to say, I thought I cut out.
Nah, you didn't cut out.
Wait, did I cut out?
No, you didn't
You
cut
cut
out.
out for like the last
I
word.
bet. All right, go ahead, official.
You probably got to repeat that because I don't know. I think official there. Okay.
Too bad. Ain't gonna lie.
Dang,
Hey, did the judges hear it? Yeah, okay. Hey, Ticket, did you hear what I said?
Wait,
And
also
Midnight, did you?
I want to
Yeah.
specify. I'm only muting
Yes, I
if
did.
like it becomes just a spur
Okay.
match and an actual like progression.
Hey, look, bro. Look, I have my order here just in case it turns into a Spurg fest, but I'm not even trying to do that. Because if he really wants to get rhetorical like that, he can get bitch, but I'm not even gonna do it like that.
All right.
Go ahead.
So what's the argument? Okay, so what's the argument for ethical egoism in the case of abortion
Oh my
and
God.
why we should act in accordance with it?
Wait, so there's two questions here, just to be clear. So there's question one, which is what the argument is for ethical egoism, and then the second question is what's the argument as to why we should act according to it. So let me respond.
In the
to both
case of
real quick.
abortion,
So
in the case of
yeah,
abortion.
yeah. Anyways, so is that it? Are you done?
Yeah, those are my two questions.
Okay, so for the first question, argument for ethical egoism is the consistency. Since obviously it isn't going to be talking about objectivity, we're going off of the consistency and the reasonability it promotes. Like I said, it's the most consistent with society.
Okay, so
therefore,
stop right there.
Yeah, can you please mute him, Pac? Yeah, I'm
Stop
not.
right there. I'm trying to ask you questions about your position. Don't be
Wait, yeah,
scared.
so we're just gonna. Okay, that's fine. Wait, before you do that, we're gonna.
Yeah,
dismiss
so
the
I just
second
want
question.
clarity.
We're gonna dismiss
We're
the
not-
second question for now. You can.
No,
ask the
we'll
first
just
one.
get to. I mean, obviously we're gonna get to the second question later.
We're not gonna get to
But
it.
I'm asking you about your question. I'm asking your position
and
right
I'm
now.
going to clarify before
So you
ask
said
your
it
questions,
promotes.
We're not gonna,
Okay, so you said we're not
Yeah, so
for the
we're not doing this, I ain't
objectivity,
gonna lie.
as
I
in
don't know
like
who you
a
think
realist
you are,
stance.
but we're not doing this
So
at
you're
all.
saying
Like,
that.
I don't know. Hold on.
So you're saying that.
Yeah, I don't know who you think you are.
All you're saying
We're
there
not
is just
doing
that it's consistent.
We're not about to allow.
So
Like, come on.
for ethical egoism to be consistent, you're just
I ain't
saying
gonna
that
lie,
people
I ain't gonna lie.
act in accordance with things that are in line with their interests.
I ain't gonna lie.
I agree that there is some cases where it is true.
Yo, okay, hold on. We go chill. We'll chill. Listen,
Okay.
official. You can ask your question, but don't like go on to a whole new point. Just ask your question.
Exactly. I'm just clarifying. Hold on. If you want to ask a new question, that's completely fine. But if we conclude before I get to your second question, then I'm just going to dismiss the second question. I'm not one of these low tiers you debate. I'm not Smoothie, okay? So we're going to stick to the first question. The first question
Chill
is
out,
the
Smoothie. He
following.
next the fuck
What?
out you, nigga.
That's
Anyways,
not what judgment
let's get back
says.
to the
But the first
substance.
question, yeah. So can you
Anyways,
please,
let's
I
get
don't
back
think
to
I
the
was done.
substance.
Yeah. So can you please?
I'm
mute my
asking a
mic?
question. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
that's fine. And I'm not done.
You don't
So
think
we're
more
gonna get back
questions
to
are gonna
this.
come after my
Yeah, I
question?
don't care. You can ask the questions when I'm done answering the first one.
Okay.
Oh,
Answer
okay.
the first question. Answer the
Yeah.
first question. I'm muted.
Where'd he go? Oh, all right.
Damn, y'all niggas trying to let me go
Yeah,
down.
turn that shit off. Yeah, turn that shit off.
Hold up, niggas trying to
Okay.
let me go down. That shit
All
just
right,
gave me.
back to what I was saying. Okay.
Yeah,
So the
we gotta
first,
do this
yeah.
shit
So
right
the first question was the following, since I can actually track and look my opponent. What's the argument for ethical egoism? So when you say argument, I'm just going to assume you mean reason or motivation. The motivation for ethical egoism is the consistency it provides for the morality of society. Hello, Pac, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, in every single scenario you can pose, when people are promoting actions or inferring actions, it's always based upon the self-interest of the individual. If you were to respond like, well, when people go to school and if people don't like school, they can go to school because they want to avoid the consequence of getting punished by their mother, meaning that there's a self-interest, which is to not get punished by their mother, that outweighs the action of going to school or the self-interest of not going to school, etc. So you can't promote or provide any other moral position, ethical position that is as consistent as ethical egoism. And the reason why, for the second question, I'm just going to answer it now. You can move on to the first question, ask your question about the first one all you want. But for the second question, the reason why, even though I've already explained this, we should accept it for an abortion debate. We should apply it for an abortion debate. Is because if the first thing I said was true, which is the consistency ethical egoism provides to the morality of society, if that is true, that common, then if it provides this consistency, it's a position we should go off. Generally speaking, if we should go off it generally, then pro-choice is what provides the most freedom. Freedom. So it's not that we're applying ethical egoism specifically to an abortion debate, is that it's inherently applied. I'm not trying to apply ethical egoism as if it's not already there. It's just already there in the background if the first claim I made is true, which you've yet to justify why it isn't true. So pro-choice allows for the least restrictions. Ethical egoism promotes freedom when it comes to the attempt to fulfill one's self-interest. Therefore, pro-choice and ethical egoism are the most aligned comparatively to pro-life, pro-circumstance, pro-sentience, etc.
All right, official. You can answer. You can ask questions or you can respond.
For the first one.
Yeah, I think I'll do a little bit of both, but y'all
No,
did
you can
kind of
mute up
like
first.
keep me muted for a little bit, keeping me muted a little bit too long because he's on to like other points. But from what I'm
Are you dumb?
getting,
You asked me
but
two
what I'm
questions.
from, no, I asked you one, then you said you were gonna get
Wait,
to
wait. You
it
asked me
later, but
one.
you kind of
Wait,
confused
one
it. But
question.
anyway,
Wait, you asked me one
I
question.
asked you
You asked me
one,
one
and then
question.
I said we can get to the other one later.
That's not
Yeah,
what you said. You asked two questions, and I said,
All right, hold
you're
on.
talking early. Anyways, we're not gonna go over like we
Go
don't
ahead,
even have to go
official.
over the meta. But it
Yeah,
just
no,
seems
it's
like he's
not
trying
meta.
to
It's
make
just
an
every
account for like.
you asked me
It just
two
seems like he's
questions.
trying to make an account for like. Can y'all mute him since he did that?
Go ahead.
Can y'all just mute him? Okay, cool. So from what I'm getting, it just seems like he's trying to like establish some type of account for like what morality is in our world by saying there's some sort of consistency of people acting within their self-interest. And then he tries to draw this like school analogy. I don't think given this specific size of data that we can conclude that in no cases people base their actions given like moral situations solely off of like the interest. I can agree that there are cases in which it exists, but I also think intuition is a factor. But we have soldiers at war who've literally died and stuff like
wait,
that
prove that. Wait, hold on. Prove
for
that. Prove
listen
that. Prove that.
wait,
Prove
can y'all
that.
mute him? Can y'all mute him? Because I don't like how he gets like a
Okay,
minute
he's
to
going into a
talk. Hey,
different
can
point,
y'all
Bob.
mute
Hold
him?
on, just to be
Can y'all
clear.
mute him? Can
Yo,
y'all
why
mute
is
him?
he
Can
so?
y'all mute him? Because he gets to talk for like 2 minutes straight. Let me get at least a couple of my arguments out. Like that's what I'm saying. Let's be fair. Let's be fair here. So people in war, like they literally fight for us, knowing that there's this possibility of them dying. And a lot of people have done like sacrificial missions for like the greater good of society. We can take this back to like CSI cases. Just like police in general, people risking their lives knowing that this thing isn't within their best interest, because what's in their best interest is things promotive towards their well-being. Now, given that that is what it is, I don't see how what you're saying conclusively leads to the conclusion that morality is strictly reduced down to just ethical egoism. But I do think that something we should act upon is something that would be consistent with like developing pattern of our intuitions, and that which seems to promote utility. Because a lot of cases where we say that there's a lot of good and stuff like that, in those environments there's a lot of flourishing and things that are in line with like the massive well-being. So I think what good seems to be the amounts of like well-being there is for like these life forms and individuals, for I guess I would say moral agents, to like I guess lower down the category. So I think that's more of an accurate, consistent description of like what morality has been. And as far as like before, I can explain how it evolves over time. So I think I'll have like a much better explanation over what morality is. But I've already explained the probability of how much flourishing and how more good in the world under my analysis and account of morality would be obtained if we act in a way towards pro-life. And he also strawmanned the pro-life position in my particular view. He didn't ask me about that. So I don't grant any sort of claims he made about my view and what the conclusion reaches to unless we discuss those. So yeah, that's my response.
Yeah. So
And
one, when you
I
say a
probably have
straw
some more
man, look,
questions.
no, mute on. Yeah. So just to be clear, there was not a single question in that entire ramble fest. There's multiple things that he actually straw man, which he doesn't know what a straw man is. Someone please get sent you in here. Maybe I can end both of them in this debate. Look, a straw man is you intentionally misrepresent the opponent's argument to make it easier to defeat. So me, for example, let's say what you said is true. Let's say I didn't ask what your definition of a pro-life position is. Let's say I didn't ask for a description of what that means or what your position is. Just because I misrepresented doesn't mean that I'm strawmanning you. That can be an accident, which is completely distinct from a mistaken belief or a flaw in logic, at least to the definition of a strawman I gave. Additionally, you conceded, retard. I'm arguing for ethical EU. Ethical, act utilitarianism. I'm an ethical egoist when it comes to that. I've said that 3 times now. So I also promote utility, but obviously you seem to do it in a distinct way. You don't actually do it in a distinct way. You're just promoting that you do because you don't know what the position actually means. You're a retard. I don't know who you learned from. Look, so let me just clarify real quick. I agree. Sure, we can maximize utility. We can attempt to maximize utility, sure. However, if we accept individual ethical egoism, that doesn't mean that everybody's self-interest has to conflict with each other. You realize people can have the same self-interest. Let's say one person has the self-interest to protect their family. Is it easier to protect your family in a community where people share the same self-interest as you, which is also protecting their self or family, or people are against you? They have these harsh consequences that they're trying to promote on you. They're trying to harm you, etc. They're going against your self-interest. They're imposing on your will. Obviously, it's the former, not the latter. So this community shares self-interest and can come up with societal laws. If they come with societal laws, that's maximization of utility in that scenario. Now, to the other points, you said I have a small sample size. The example I gave was not supposed to be a sample size or a data set that I'm using to represent the population of people who comment on morality. That's not what I'm using that for at all. You're straw manning for that point, which is kind of ironic because you commented on me straw manning, retard. Look, what I'm using is an example to display how, seemingly, because I never said it was the case, seemingly, to me at least, I don't care about you because you have retarded eyes. Seemingly, to my eyes, it seems as if people just seem to act upon their self-interest. Yes, I use seem 3 times to emphasize that word. Seemingly, seemingly, seemingly. Listen, please. Now, those examples you gave as a defeaters to my point are not actual defeaters. You saying that people sacrifice themselves for the greater good does not mean at all that they don't have the self-interest. And please listen to this point, take a midnight, because this is important. People can have the self-interest to have their legacy remembered. So people, we all have different values. People can have the value of their name being remembered throughout all the time or for a really long time after death. And that can be more important to them than their life at the time. So they can have their pride, they can have their legacy, remembrance, etc. They might have sacrificed themselves, one, because they have the self-interest to protect their friend or whoever they're sacrificing themselves for. Two, because they want their legacy to live on, and the preservation of their legacy at that time was more important than their life. Or three, just because of their pride. There's multiple reasons why they could have sacrificed themselves. Your examples does not defeat anything. And also, this is an important point, Tig at Midnight. Listen, you use those examples to defeat why what I said was incorrect. So if those examples don't go through, then my seeming is just completely fine and consistent under my eyes because I don't care about your eyes. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to convince the judges. There's not a single scenario you can propose that. Hold on. You cannot propose a single scenario. You said what?
Your trust can't
Okay.
touch the board. Get
Anyways,
the board.
hold on. You cannot propose. Okay. Anyways, you cannot propose a single scenario where someone is acting out of their self-interest. Let's say I'm donating to charity. Okay, I can just have the self-interest to make others happier because that makes me happier. Please mute your mic inside. Now, there's no argument for intuition. And even I ain't like depending on what you even mean by intuition here, it might be in line with us. People who fight in war with us, like I said, can have the self-interest to protect their families at home. It's easier. What's up, Kinsai? It's easier. Shut the fuck up, nigga. It's easier to protect your families at home if you go to war because you're actually contributing to the people who are trying to represent your country and fight. I have to make sure that he understands, Kinsai. You don't understand. So So yes, there's a consistency. I'm going off of the consistency, and then I'm applying that to pro-choice, even though it's inherently in pro-choice, because pro-choice allows for the most freedom when it comes to moral decisions relative to pro-life and pro-circumstance. So yes, there's a simple and consistent account for what morality is, seemingly off of the consistency of society. I don't need to increase the data set or sample size for an induction that I'm making because there is no induction I'm making. I'm just giving motivation for a seeming.
Okay, real quick. Before I mute you, official, I'm not going to in the future. I'm not going to mute you if you interject. You can interject. That's fine. I'm only going to mute if it becomes a spring match. But go ahead, official.
Hmm? Oh, okay. So, man, that was a lot. Okay, so let me see what I want to get to first. Uh, let's see. Okay, so the counter morality he brought up. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, I don't think it's inherently within that given the line of reasoning for like pro-choice, but that's like an external point. I think the most important thing you said was something about like the well-being and stuff like that. Oh yeah, the intuition aspect in case of like the soldier scenario. So like in the soldier scenario, like from your examples, what you're saying seems to posit that there's some inherent like interest gained in the scenario after this person dies. But like even when you want to be remembered and stuff like that, I don't think you can draw an example where somebody had like a better interest prior to like the state where they're actually alive. Because when we're dead, most of the time when we say like, oh, I want to be remembered as this and stuff like that, they're basing that off of like how it makes them feel now to have that legacy. Like, oh, I want to be remembered as like a king, you know, that gives me like this sense of like quality and pride. That's what most people mean when they like, oh, they want to have like this legacy. I don't think people we have evidence that there's a self-interest after death and stuff like that, which is like an external conversation. So I don't think that point would go through. And even if I seemingly could not point to like cases where there's not, what you're saying could just be an aspect of the particular type of like account of morality that I'm trying to portray, particularly in like the qualities I accept, which I've already stated within the conversation. So I don't think you provided something that's going to be seemingly consistent. I'm sure it can be seemingly consistent to you, but it's like in the case of abortion, you don't seem to be able to account for like why it's the case. Why it's the not just in the case of an abortion. You don't seem to explain scenarios where there's more good in the world, regardless of people's self-interest, and then it's also open to like absurdities where it's like, oh, we shouldn't act in within certain people's best interest. So we wouldn't say that somebody raping somebody because it was within this person's interest and stuff like that was a good thing. We would say, no, I don't care if it provides like a higher self-interest for like this one person. You shouldn't rape this said person. Morality seems to point to this pattern that as far as like,
Oh, Stu, I didn't even know Finny wasn't even here. Hey, my fault, man. Hey, official. Hold that thought, and we'll come right back to you when Finny comes back. My bad.
Hey, wait, can y'all slide me a midnight down? Y'all slide us
No,
down.
no, no, no,
She wants to train me.
no. I don't care. I will tie you up for 7 days, so I had no stupid requests like that again.
I'm sorry, sir.
All right, good boy. All
Hello,
right, go ahead. Okay, so yeah, official. Can you start from the beginning, please? Go ahead.
hello.
I'm so sorry,
Uh,
official. My bad. I should have looked at the VC. I look at was you looking.
Wait, hello. You hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Oh,
back
I
in
don't know if
10
you were
minutes.
here.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna be back in 10 minutes, but let me clarify. I'm dismissing everything you
Yo,
said
can we
when I'm not
conclude
here.
here? Fuck that shit. Can we
10
conclude?
minutes.
Okay, wait, Tika. We can conclude if he didn't say anything new.
Hold on, official. I'm gonna
Yo,
let you respond real quick and then we can conclude. Go ahead.
Wait.
to be honest, that
Hold on.
nigga's weird because I seen him here and then he left midpoint when
Are you
he
dumb?
realized
I
that I was
joined for a
cooking
few
his ass
seconds to
and
clarify
then
the
tried to
spot.
fake. No, you tried to fake.
Fake
Nigga,
what?
we're ending this shit right now. You got
Fake
fried.
what?
You got fried.
Fake
You
what?
tried to fake. We
Okay,
can end this shit here.
wait.
You
Mute
got
him real
fried.
quick, Buck. He's just
You got
over
fried.
talking. But wait, Tika.
yo, what's up? Either way, you guys don't even need to conclude. If you guys stopped right here, I could give you a judgment right now.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
stop right
look.
here.
We can hold on. We can stop if he didn't say anything new. So you can
He
base your
said
judgment
something
off.
new. He
He
said
says
something
something
new.
new.
I
Then
don't think
I'm
anything new. I think that he was just repeating himself. So.
okay. Midnight. You believe he did? Do you believe that what he said response?
I don't remember. Did he ever? Wait, did he ever bring up the rape shit before Infinity left? I thought that he just thought that I ran
What? What was it?
out. It could be within an individual self interest to like rape. Doesn't mean that it's like morally fine or permissible.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay.
That's
That's
not
just
a
a question.
response.
That
That's
that's
not a
not a response.
response
Okay. Just to be
because
clear.
No,
the
that's
reason
not a
why that's
quick.
not a
Oh
response is
wow, that's
because
stupid.
we already hit that. Well,
Okay.
Infinity.
Wait. Just to be clear, I
What
already
else?
said. Hold on. That's not. Hold on. Let me finish. That's not a response at all. I could just say that that's moral for the person raping them, but that's immoral for the person who's getting raped because it's imposing on their self interest. So you
Yeah, but
saying
like
that? Can I finish?
that's a
Can I finish?
problem though.
Yeah, can I
That's a
finish? You
problem
mute up
in
when you talk. Mute up.
itself.
I ain't gonna lie. I can't even be loud. I'm downstairs right now. Hold on. Yeah. So You saying that, well, there's a situation where someone can get raped and that would be inconsistent with your view. Therefore, your view can't be the case. That is just a
You're running into an
presupposition.
inaction
Yo, oh
problem.
my,
You're
can y'all
not.
mute
Oh my
him? Can
god.
y'all mute him? I'm
Sir,
downstairs. I
sir,
can't be
bro,
You're
yelling.
running into an inaction.
Anyways, yeah. So you saying, well, that can't be the case because it's in a scenario where someone can get raped. Someone getting raped is not incompatible with my view. It can be immoral for the person who's getting raped, but moral for the person who's raping them. But generally speaking, for the rest of society, it's immoral for that person to get raped. It's immoral. The raper specifically is immoral. But if that's the example you gave, I ain't gonna lie, we can just conclude because that's not a response.
go
You're
ahead.
not able to account for the. Oh my God. You're not able to account for the wrongness given his action. You're just saying that, oh, this person felt like some sort of brain state, which is like good for him. She felt some sort of like wrongness, she felt some sort of negative state and stuff like that. But when we say that there's the wrongness in rape, we're saying that this person is going against these sort of like, we're saying that this violates utility. We're saying more than just that. I can account for like the other properties of wrongness in the situation. Yours just seems to point to like psychological states, and you're not even providing why it's the case that we ought act with them in a way that promotes this person's psychological state over more psychological well states. And nobody's gonna say it's intuitive. Nobody's gonna say that it's unintuitive just because and it was good for this. Nobody's gonna say that what you're saying is intuitive, essentially. So we can conclude. Yeah.
So you're saying that pretty much that he can't account for moral wrongs in a universal
And
sense.
he's just repeating himself, saying like, "Oh well, it promotes
Hello,
well
hello.
being.
I'm
It
back.
promotes
Wait,
well
wait,
being for
wait,
the
wait,
mother."
wait.
But he's
Okay,
not.
I can speak, but wait until I get upstairs so he can repeat everything. I'm gonna be upstairs in like 2 minutes, bro.
All right, okay,
Bro,
okay. Go
what?
ahead and get that chicken, boy. Okay, okay. So, Infinity is muted, so you can repeat what you said, or I can just clarify what you said.
Yeah,
Whichever
he
you
just from what I'm getting, all he's saying is that it works within the mother's best interest to
Okay, maybe he's retarded. I'm
do
back.
it.
I'm back upstairs. I look.
Therefore, it's
Okay,
we have a
I'm back
distinction on
upstairs. So
what's
wait,
more.
let me
And we're
clarify
trying to
everything real
argue
quick.
for what's the better
Oh
account
my
of
god.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
morality
let me
Infinity. You made a
clarify.
and
point,
why
so
we
I'm
should
gonna
act in
give you.
accordance with
Okay,
it.
Pac,
And
let
I've
me
already
clarify,
listed
bro. Like nobody
more
cares
All right,
about
reasons
what
how
you're
mine's more in line with our
saying. Okay, bro, shut
intuitions.
up, bro. Nobody cares about what you're saying.
And
All
more
right, listen.
well,
self-interest can be gained with more utility. So
Yeah,
like
wait.
if
If
you
you
value the
hold on,
quantity and
real quick,
nobody's
real
gonna
quick.
value singular.
Hold
So
on,
yeah.
real quick, Infinity. He made. I would say he made a point that your worldview doesn't account for moral wrongs universally. So you can respond to that. Go ahead.
Okay, so one, mute him since I was just muted for no reason. Secondly, you can
Yeah,
repeat the point because I wasn't here. Thirdly, let me respond to that shitty ass point he just made. Go ahead and justify that with more
Yeah.
utility. That entails. So
Okay,
can
yeah,
y'all
sure.
please mute him? Can y'all please?
yeah, I got you, I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, thank you. So go ahead and justify that with more utility comes more self interest. Like what the fuck? Like what? The preservation of a fetus does not entail more utility, and more utility does not have to entail more self interest. You know, an adult can have more self interest than a fetus, or even in the future, a fetus who grows into an adult. Like what the fuck? Let's say, for example, an adult has had 1,000 even though it's way more, 1,000 self interests or choices or decisions or 1,000 things that they wanted in life. And then let's say there's a fetus, and then the fetus dies at a young age. Well, guess what? Who had more wheels or desires or self things in their self interest or things that they wanted? The person who chose to preserve the life of the fetus because they were forced to. So let's say that there's a situation in which the mother has to die due to the baby. If the mother doesn't want to die, but it's illegal to abort the baby, then you're imposing on their will. And with ethical egoism being true, that is the most, or that's the highest immoral action in the immoral hierarchy, the imposition of one's will. So you're committing the gravest sin relative to the consistency or moral hierarchy that we have. Now, go ahead and give the scenario that he said my view doesn't account for.
All right, go ahead, official.
No, Pac, you can say it. He's just gonna ramble. He's gonna try to respond to what I said. Do you
No,
remember?
All
I'm
right,
gonna. This is a debate, bitch. Anyways, like I said.
Anyways,
So, like, let's say somebody's like a coma
but is this
patient.
the
We wouldn't say that
example?
it's okay for people to rape coma patients. We wouldn't
Wait,
say
is this
shit like that.
okay? Well, let me respond. Is this
Your
an
view wouldn't be able to account for in that situation, seemingly, because you're saying it's. We would still say it's bad that this person raped this person. It's bad for this person for him to be raped.
Official. Wait. Can you
Because
can you say
we respect
hold
choices.
on,
Because I and I also I don't know. He
official.
made multiple points. He made multiple points. No, let me respond.
Okay, hold on. Before you respond to him, can you please clarify the last point that you made about his position being inconsistent and not being as full as yours? Just respond to that, and then you can go on respond to his place.
The point I said, yeah, I said, seemingly his thing doesn't. I just named it right now. Seemingly, he wouldn't be able to account for like the wrongness for this person in the
Oh
situation.
my god.
How it is
Wait,
that
wait,
we've
just to be
wronged
clear,
them.
I'm not gonna make a new
How it is
point.
that we've wronged.
Mute him real quick.
No, no, no.
I'm not
You're
gonna
not
make a
making
new
new.
point.
Just made multiple points.
I'm
That's just
not gonna
shocking.
make a
No,
new point.
mute
I'm
him,
not
mute him,
gonna
mute
make a
him,
new
mute him.
I'm not gonna make a new point currently.
No,
So just
mute
to
him,
be
mute him.
clear,
He got to talk
so
for
just to be
5 minutes.
clear,
No, let me
can you
talk.
please mute
Mute
him?
him,
I
mute him,
was
mute him,
talking for
mute him,
five
mute him.
minutes.
Why are y'all being charitable to him? Why are y'all charitable to him?
Yeah,
Let
go
me
ahead, go ahead,
talk.
Official, go ahead, Official.
I
Go
don't know
ahead,
what the
Official.
fuck that weird shit is. Okay, so as far as like, all I heard something about like some ultimate thing that we value is like this choice. Now, as far as like imposing on this lady's will, right? This lady is inherently going in a way to like oh yeah, basically minimize our chances of gaining further flourishing and potential wellness in the world. And we can also say that there's some muscle type of wrongness in there, like murder, right? Because they're violating the potential choices that this thing, what's name, would have gained and stuff like that, or has a chance of gaining to say like, no, I wouldn't like this. And there's cases in society where we actually value what's name, the choice that this person can make in the future. Hence why we say like, oh, well, it's wrong to rape people who are sleeping. It's wrong to life people without causing physical pain to them as well, right? Because we're depriving them of like this chance that they could have gained to like be sentient or whatever and make this choice like, hey, there's this wrongness, and all for the purpose of like this self-interest. I don't think that just because we value self-interest in like a what's name, or we act in according with self-interest, poses that we should act in accordance with this lady's, nor does it pose the fact that morality is just simply reducible down to this said thing. I don't see also why it establishes why it's going to be more probable, or how it's consistent that it's the case that people act in line with this thing, because I've already drawn the situations where it's strictly not reducible down to these psychological states that you experience when you're like awake and like things of that nature. You just fucking suck in your ass and you just shotgun a bunch of like unnecessary points. Uh,
Okay, so
but yeah.
okay, so from now on, I'm gonna say this again. I'm not going to unmute you. I'm not going to mute you unless you are spurring when the person has their talk time. If you guys want to interject, that's fine. I don't care. I'm just gonna make that shit clear. But go
Wait,
ahead,
real quick
official.
before
No,
Infinity
wait,
goes
no,
though.
just to be clear, hold on. That is not fair at all. You just let him go in that ramble while I was muted, and then
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead,
No,
go
it's
ahead.
Before
not
Infinity
fair. It's
goes,
fair. It's
before
not
Infinity
fair.
goes,
Shut your bitch ass up.
before Infinity goes, wait, official, say your example real quick again. I
Yes,
got
sir,
you.
example.
I'm kind of high right now. I don't remember.
All right,
What
word.
the
All right.
fuck?
It's
Okay,
a,
okay.
I'm no. I'm sorry.
Infinity,
Like, bro,
Infinity
it's
knows
all
the
recording.
example.
I'll let him in the.
Okay, official knows the example, so I'm gonna let Infinity go. Infinity, I mean after this round, so I'm gonna let you respond, but then after this round, there you can interject, do whatever. Go ahead, Infinity.
okay, sure. So I'm gonna talk to Tigget in midnight since my opponent is retarded. He can't even track his own points. So just be clear, since I can track it, he can't even track his own points. The example he gave was if we were to rape a coma victim who doesn't have it as self-interest to not have their will imposed on. The reason why my position still accounts for that is because my position isn't supposed to talk about the self-interest of every single person. It does not matter if a person has a self-interest or not. It's saying that morality is determined off, the morality of actions is determined off of the self-interest of the individual. So we're talking about the self-interest of the individual who's promoting the action, idiots. That does not mean that every person in the world has to have a self-interest, which a coma person, let's say they don't have a self-interest. Does that mean that ethical egoism isn't true? No. What the hell? If I die right now, I lack self-interest. Does that mean that ethical egoism isn't true? No. That's completely irrelevant. Additionally, even though I don't have to entertain this retarded ass example that even Apollo could respond to, the fuck, I can still say that it would be against the self-interest of the victim's family. They don't want to see their cousin, dad, mom, friend, sister, brother get raped. So yes, there's still self-interest that the person who's imposing on the victim's will, quote unquote, there's still self-interest that conflict with that. Now, in response to the other things, you keep on saying that you don't see the probability. I'm not trying to get you to see the probability. I'm trying to give reasonability for the judges. I'm not here to convince official. That would be like convincing Apollo or Shinra. Why would I ever do that? I'm not debating you because I want to convince you. We already know you're retarded. Like, what the fuck? It's hard to convince a retard. I'm not here to do that. Now, back to what I was saying. I'm here to one, make a comment on how there's no ethical position you can give that exploits the same amount of consistency as ethical egoism. Because in every single scenario where there's a self-interest laid on the table, hello,
You cut
hello,
out.
What ego?
You
yeah,
cut out.
yeah. So in every single scenario where there's an individual acting, there's a self, whether the self-interest is positive for the individual or whether the self-interest is negative for the individual. There's always a self-interest, meaning ethical egoism is the most consistent due to that. You saying that you don't care about self-interest existing, which doesn't lead to a connection with ethical egoism, is just a claim. What's the justification for that? It seems like I'm the one on the affirmative this entire debate because all you do is rat and put things into question. What's the motivation for why your base utility or utilitarianism is stronger and has a stronger motivation even towards the judges for my ethical ego is at utilitarianism? What's the argument for that? You are just claiming that I can't make the comment that morality boils down to self-interest. What's the argument for that? You saying you don't see the probability or that I haven't provided sufficient enough evidence when it comes to a sample size is not an argument. Comments on your perspective, which nobody is here to see. They're all here to see me whoop your ass because nobody thinks you're better than me. So, yes, I'm arguing for seemings. Yes, there are ultimate things that we value. If we accept the consistency, if it's the case that ethical egoism is the position, which when you say true, I'm assuming you mean reality. I don't think there's objectivity to morality, which is why I keep on saying it's relative to the self-interest of the individual, which is what individual ethical egoism asserts. The morality of actions are determined off of the self-interest of the individual promoting the action. So I don't care about any objectivity. I'm not saying that rape is bad in every single scenario. I'm saying that it's relative to the self-interest of the person. Obviously, most people, like 99% of people, don't want to be raped. So it's immoral for them to be raped. That's completely fine. Like, what the fuck? And if we accept that ethical egoism has motivation, then we would have to grant normative and ethical hierarchies and systems. And if we do that, which we have to by conditionally, the top of the immoral hierarchy will be the imposition of will of someone else. And then the top of the moral hierarchy would be the attempt to fulfill one's self-interest, not actually doing it, but the attempt. So when you say that there's a mother and a fetus, I'm valuing the mother's choice. You saying that the fetus might have future decisions or a future will that says they don't want to die or whatever. Okay, that's fine. So relative to the fetus is immoral, but relative to the mother, it's moral to abort the baby, which is why I'm not saying morality is objective. Never claim. That's why I'm pro-choice. Retard. I can say in some scenarios that I personally like the mother. It's immoral to me, but relative to the mother's self-interest, it is moral. Just relative to my self-interest, which I don't want to see a fetus die, it's immoral. But me granting that the death of a fetus is immoral does not mean that pro-life, pro-choice is false. That's not what that means. So you talking about your position of morality and how there's utility there, you have no argument as to why your position is more consistent, true, or even possible when it comes to objectivity. You have no argument for that at all. What the fuck? You
Okay.
saying just because, hold on, let me finish. You saying, because he gave him multiple points, you saying just because we have self-interest doesn't mean we should act upon it. Never said that at all either. I'm just saying I have motivation for ethical egoism. Seemingly, it's the most consistent with what we're doing currently. Everybody seems to act upon their self-interest. So to continue preserving how society is currently and even evolving past what society is currently, but not de-evolving, I believe ethical egoism is a strong position to hold because collectively as a community, shut the fuck up, breakpoint 7854. Because collectively as community, we usually have the same self-interest, which is preserving our life, preserving the family's life, making money, and preserving our happiness, basically. So respond to all that. There's nothing that you name that I can't account for.
All right. No
And by the way,
more.
there's no shotgun, by the way.
No
You
more
know, I forgot.
talking. And okay, this is the last.
Fucking
No more
Swagger
talking
ass
stick after this
fucking
point. Y'all niggas
Jesus.
can like battle it out, bro. Be
Hey,
Yo, can we conclude by the way? But yeah, there's no shotgun by the way. It's
go
not a
ahead,
shotgun.
Faisal.
Yeah, okay. So as far as like the people acting with interest, people just don't like negative stimuli and they act in a way to doesn't promote that, which explains for like the whole like I guess psychological states that people act in accordance with. So I don't think it conclusively points to like what you're saying, right? Given like the sample size you provided or like the data set. But we already see that there's cases where what you're saying just like doesn't apply and doesn't seem intuitive or that
Wait,
which is
prove
in
that.
line with like I guess like
Prove that.
the VC's like intuitions, my
Wait, prove that.
intuitions.
Prove that. Wait,
You know, I
Fuck.
don't think it'd be
Wait, prove
seem
that.
that society's intuitions
Prove
as
that it
well.
doesn't align with the VC's
But
intuition, and there's
given the
examples where it does not
possibility
align intuitively.
of my I guess
You don't even
hypothesis,
know.
I don't think that it seems to affirm itself in the negation at the same time, as far as like moral objectivity, or just my account of morality in general. So I don't see how it seems to be contradictory, which is something that I personally would feel is motivation, because the laws of logic are codependent on each other. So, like, given the semantics, I just don't see why what you're saying, why you even try to put that in question. So I guess we do have motivators there, but your position doesn't seem to motivate me at all as to why we should
I
act
don't
in
care about
accordance towards
motivating
this
you.
way, and
Pop,
it's
can you hear
open
me?
to a multitude of moral absurdity and reductios, whereas my position doesn't seem as like open to these reductios and seems intuitive generally. So I guess we can conclude.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to respond to that. You're not about to name random fucking 20,000 retarded points and then just try to conclude. So, one, you cannot
Ironic.
you can't point out a single reductio morally or any moral absurdity. You just repeated the same thing twice. A reductio would
Yeah, I
be an
said we're
absurdity.
concluding. By
Yeah,
the way,
let
I'm
me
gonna mute my
finish. Yeah,
mic and
so
I'm
yeah,
just gonna let you
proxy
yap
is
so they can
yeah,
end the recording. I'm
okay,
done
yeah.
debating you,
Wait,
by the
no,
way.
you're a weirdo. Hey, for the recording, if he ends now, the debate isn't over. So there's going to be context after the recording ended. But just to be clear, he hasn't pointed out a single absurdity or reductio. He just repeated himself twice because he doesn't know what a reductio is. If it is a reductio in the air, there's an absurdity automatically. Additionally, he commented on shotgun. There's no shotgun because there's no intention of overloading him to make my position easier to defend. He said his position aligns with the intuition of the VC, which he can't justify. He also said there's more intuitive accounts for his position, which he also can't justify. He talked about a sample size. I never tried to get a sample size to represent a specific or general population. I gave an example, which isn't a sample size to infer likelihood. I'm not talking about the likelihood of my point to motivate you. You said as a response to my claim that I'm not really motivated. That's fine. I'm not trying to motivate you, official, because like I've said 5 times, you're retarded. I'm here to motivate competent people like Pac, like Midnight, like Censor on Mondays and Tuesdays, and like Tigger, retard. I'm not here to motivate you. So you saying that people just don't like negative stimuli, therefore they act in a way in which avoids negative stimuli? Okay, that doesn't defeat anything I said. That goes back to my school analogy or example, which is just an example. Not saying it's true, which it is true by the way, but it's just an example, so you don't have to attack it.
Yeah, it's
If
just you're
someone goes to,
unparsimonious.
if
What
it
you're
goes
saying is
to,
just
yeah,
not
can you please mute
parsimonious
him?
at all.
Yeah, what's the
Not
argument for that?
parsimonious
Wait,
at
what's the
all.
argument for that? What's the argument for that?
It's just going to be evident given the analysis of our arguments.
But what's the argument for that though? Just to be clear, why is
I
it
already
evidence by the
explained it.
analysis of our
So
arguments?
an argument is just like a line of reasoning. I'm saying it's going
I
to be
know what the
evident
argument is.
given the analysis of our arguments, so the
And
judge
I'm
can
asking
like
how
see
that
what you're
I'm
saying
asking
is less
how it follows
parsimonious
from the
when
analysis. I'm
giving
asking how it
comparative
follows from the
examples of like
analysis.
our theories
How
of
does it
like
follow
morals
from
and
the
like
analysis?
abortion.
How does it follow from the analysis?
I've already explained to you how this will work. Are you done?
No, no, you
Because
haven't, by the way. But just to be clear,
I kind of want to get
there's
this
multiple,
uploaded to the
and I
YT
kind of think that you're
and
retarded.
use you
But just to
so
be
for some
clear,
more viewers, and then put
just to be
like another
clear,
thumbnail me beating your
just to be
ass like I
clear,
always do.
just to be clear, just
Fiction,
to be clear.
IRL, you can't fuck with
Yeah.
me.
Oh my god. Anyways,
Let's be
just to be
clear.
clear, anyways, just to be clear, like I said, you have yet to explain the connection between the analysis of argumentation that we've delivered and the point you just made. You just said that there was analysis and your justification was the analysis. You didn't explain the connection or how that was actual justification in this point. You didn't explain how your morality is more consistent or even possible. You said that you are motivated by the laws of thought. That's completely fine. I can grant the laws of thought being true. That does not mean at all that you saying that you don't see a P and not P. That does not entail that there's a lack of a contradiction. I don't care if you don't see a P and not P. And then if I
You're
were to
not
ask you, for
done?
example, if I were to ask you, for
You're
example,
not
why
done?
something,
Oh my
if I were to
god.
ask you, for example, why something is possible or why something is possible, you saying that there's a lack of a P and not P existing, that's just repetitive. That's a question bag. I don't care about that. But we can
That's
conclude.
not what a possibility is.
If it's possible,
A
that means that there's
possibility,
if
a
there's a, if there's a
possibility
if
means
it's
that it
possible
can
if it's
happen.
possible.
No, a
Are you
possibility
what?
is something can happen.
I
Now, the
agree. If
conditions
it's
for
possible,
something to
that
be
means that
able
there's
to
no
happen are
contradiction.
that it's in line with the laws of logic. So you're talking about prior conditions. You're confused there,
You're
like
retarded.
you've
You're
been this
confused.
entire
Just to be clear,
conversation.
hold on. Just to be
No,
clear,
no, you're
if
just
it's
retarded. But you
possible,
can go
if
ahead
it's
and give that
possible,
dumbass year
if
five
it's
argument.
possible, if it's possible, that means depending on your view.
If it's possible,
Look, I don't know if
no,
you're repeating it
possibility
because you're
does
scared of
not.
the
The
argument.
possibility does not indirectly refer to laws of logic, three laws
You
of
ascribe
thought.
to
It
the laws
refers to
of
something
thought.
that can happen. Like
If
when we
you
say,
depending,
like a
oh my
car can
god, you
down the
already
street.
said
We're
this.
not referencing that. We're saying that it can happen. Now the reasoning as to why this thing can happen is given these set conditions for things to be able to obtain. You're
Hold on. So
confused.
just to be clear, yeah. So
Just
possibilities
to
are
be
based upon
clear,
that.
you've never
Yo, can okay? I ain't gonna
conversation.
lie, bro. We're not about to do this. Mute this dude, bro.
We're
This
not
dude is
about to do
acting.
this. We're
He's so
not about to
scared.
do this. We're not about to do this.
The condition you said was him
The
over talking you
condition
to
you
the point where he
said.
couldn't
The
hear me.
condition you said.
I
Well, it
agree
has
that
to
I said
match.
that.
It has
I
to
agree that
match
I
and
said
adhere
that.
to the
Hey, Pac, and
thought.
like, can you mute
Whatever
him?
accounts of
Yeah.
identity, law,
So,
and contradiction, excluded
Pac,
middle.
can you mute him?
Now,
Pac,
I
can you
think
mute
your
him?
argument hinges
Can you
upon
mute him?
which type of
Can you mute him?
account,
Pac, can you mute
but
him?
I don't think you.
Pac, can you mute him? Yeah.
Before
So
you
just
go,
be clear.
before you
Wait,
go,
hold on. No.
hold on.
Because you already gave the condition. You don't have to repeat it just
No,
because it
hold
didn't
on.
answer.
I want to make it clear. I want to be
Oh
clear.
my god.
Right? Official. I'm cool with interjections, but you can't like yell and shit
Bro,
because
you know that he's scared. I'm on mobile
it's
right now
borderline
because
swearing, bro.
y'all muted my PC for some reason. I don't know why y'all did that, but y'all muted
I
my
did it. No,
PC.
I did it. No, I did it. I
Yeah,
muted it. I
okay. It
muted it.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm gonna join on my PC
Yep.
later if we
All
continue.
right,
But anyways,
official.
back to it.
Chill
So
with the
yeah,
yelling and
depending.
shit.
Hold on. Depending on your view, hold on. We can conclude after this, but depending on your view, if it's possible, that means that there's a lack of a contradiction, retard. So if I say that I want you to justify something being possible, and you say in response that there's a lack of a P and not P, that's just you repeating yourself. You saying there's a lack of a contradiction inherently means that it's possible. So I'm asking for the argument as to why there's a lack of a P and not P, depending on your view, by the way. But the thing is, the dependency of your view is irrelevant here because you already announced your view, which was the schools of thought, the laws of thought. You said you grant the laws of logic, meaning that if something is in line with the three laws of thought, which you talked about codependency for, that inherently means by conditionally they're possible. These are possible actions. The example you gave, which was talking about the motivation for possibilities, is completely irrelevant to what I said. So we can conclude. You just went circular.
Okay, so you just don't know. Okay,
Oh, wait, do you want
hey,
to conclude? Wait,
all
no,
right,
are you scared?
we
You
can
want to conclude?
conclude. Yeah, we're done. We're
Yeah,
done. We're done.
I bet. End
Send
it.
recording or something.
No, you can just save it yourself. But hey, Midnight, who won? Actually, don't save it yet. I want the judgment in the recording. Hey, Midnight, who won? And don't say that you're not here. We know you are.
Yeah, so I wasn't here for that time plan. Okay, so just to make sure that I heard both
We
sides.
know
So
who
pretty much,
won, right?
I'm
Go
just making
ahead.
sure I track. I'm just making sure I track. Okay, so pretty much it starts off infinity posits ethical egoism is going to be followed or whatever in virtue of the fact that it seems to be more in line with society to keep society in line with the way that it is today slash functioning. We should follow ethical egoism. Let me get off this game for
Hey,
right
by the
now,
way, when I
bro.
say we, I'm talking about
And
me, you, and the other judge.
all right.
But continue.
Official pretty much responds by saying that ethical egoism is going to lead to like a lot of like absurdities, such as like rape being morally permissible, things like that, and also doesn't account for a certain phenomena such as like soldiers dying for the country. Infinity pretty much just says, well, the soldier dying for the country could be explained by yada yada yada. Rape is going to be morally permissible for the rapist in question, but obviously for the victim and like most people in society, it wouldn't be morally permissible. Therefore, ethical egoism could also account for these things as well. And then it pretty much just turns into that, but like for a bunch of other shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then for the last point with the possibility shit, I'm not sure if I listened to that. Why the fuck were y'all talking about whether or not something was possible or not?
Because I said there's no argument as to why. The objectivity of his moral position, I said there was no argument as to why it's even possible. I said there's no argument for the likelihood, the possibility of it, or even a consistency that we should accept for seeming.
Well, I don't really care about that. Okay, so yeah, I think Infinity won then, and I
Okay,
don't
and just
think
to be
that
clear for the
the goal.
recording, Tiga also thought I won. He said in the chat. So yeah, that's easy. That's what is that? I think that's 10-0, 20-0, 30-0, 50-0. Like, come on,
Let's
man.
not be delusional. Let's not be delusional.
Yo, look though, midnight, give me my purse back. I don't know what y'all took. That's fine.
You know how he took it.
Yeah, could you like let me be clear, and then